and that's basketball. So tonight I've got a very special group of people on the panel tonight. We have some current basketball players and some former basketball players, but nonetheless, a group of people that are passionate about basketball. So if you're a basketball fan, this segment is for you. But before we get into it, you know how we do. If you have your favorite libation, raise them up, and we're about to get into it. Str8 No Chaser. Salute, gentlemen. Which, by the way, I'm so impressed with the young guys, even though they're of age to drink, that they chose to drink water. So kudos to them. Way to take care of your bodies, guys. So the first thing I want to talk about, the NBA is coming back. End of July 31st is the scheduled return date for the NBA. They've got a new format they're introducing where they're going to allow 22 teams to compete and play for playoff spots. Basically, you're looking at, let's call it what it is. They wanted to make sure they had marquee players like Zion Williamson available. You want to make sure you had guys like Ja Morant, because these guys are exciting. They're ushering the new era of basketball in the NBA. But it's going to look and feel a little different because in Orlando, they're only allowing a certain number of players and a certain number of family members, as well as team members and executives. No fans. So this will look and feel different. Let me ask you a question. I'm going to start with Ken, and then I'm going to go Julian, Jay, and then Francois. Big Ken, let me ask you, are you excited for the return of basketball, and what will that look and feel like for you with no fans in the stands?
Man, Stan, I'm kind of torn. It's gonna give me something to do, something to watch, but I don't know about the no fans thing. I mean, I hope they mic up the players. Now, what I heard is they're gonna punch in this sound from 2K, really? Crowd noise from the two. I heard that today on the NBA website that they're gonna funnel in crowd noise from a 2K game.
Oh,
to give it some kind of sound, so you just don't hear. I'd have rather just heard balls bouncing and mic up the play.
Interesting, mic up the play. Yeah, you know what? You hear that. And I think it's selective in terms of what they put out there as far as the content. But they do have players mic'd up. But I think that's interesting. Julian, what do you thought?
I'm gonna be okay with it. I'm gonna be okay. Okay with the 5-team play-in where you get the one. So you got the 5 teams and one of them get into the last playoff slot.
Gotcha.
I'm pulling for Portland.
Pulling for Portland.
Okay.
Wait, and why is that?
I need my man Melo in the playoffs.
Oh, you're one of those guys. All right. Got a Melo guy. What about you, Julian?
I think, honestly, with the lack of fans, and the lack of people in the arena, I don't even think we'll need them to be mic'd up at all. I think we'll be able to hear some of the things that we wouldn't be able to hear during the game, originally. But I don't know. It'll be different atmosphere. I think it's good to have it back. Obviously, good to see sports doing this thing again. I think we'll be able to see a lot of the competition a little bit up close, see exactly what's really going on between each player. But I think it's something we just gotta wait and see. It's a waiting game. I really can't imagine. Honestly, only thing I can think of is a practice. How things can get during practice, but I don't know. We just gotta see. Honestly.
Okay. What about you? Jay?
For me, I'm excited. I don't really care what facet we get it in. I just need some basketball in my life at this point. I'm tired of watching film. I need something live. As far as the no fans, it kind of gives you that the Orlando Summer League feel, where it's just quiet, like you hear the sneakers, But I feel like we could have figured out something, because even WWE's came back and they got like 30 people in the stands cheering. It's weird, but you get that energy, you get that like sense of feel. Like I feel like we could have figured out something to put at least 15 people in the stands.
Okay. I think it's a great point that you brought up, kind of like that it's awkward, it's weird. It's like that Orlando Summer League type of feel where it's people there, but not really there. They really don't have an impact on the game because we've all played, and that for people that are, especially if you're on your home court, people feed off of that energy. People feed off the reactions. Someone like me, I was motivated by the boos. I prefer to play on the road. I was motivated by being booed and, maybe point out one or two guys you can talk a little trash to and get it going. So it's definitely gonna feel different. Big Frenchie, how about you?
It depends on how they set it up. I'm ready for it to come back. The playoff run will be interesting. I think, like you guys already alluded to, that Orlando Summer League feel. And I'm with Ken. I'd rather just hear the ball bouncing and the squeaking shoes. If the ball playing is good, the ball playing is good. So you could kind of just get lost into that without all the distractions. So as long as they come back and hoop, I'm good with it.
See, it's got that controlled scrimmage feel, where sometimes I know, like, for example, we would scrimmage against other JUCOs when I was playing JUCO. Not scrimmage, but, we'd have practices against them and things like that, kind of like tune-ups. Or like when I played, we played Olive Harvey Jamboree, places like that where it's like, okay, you know what, there's not a lot of people. But, to that point, I do think, and I do like the level of intimacy that it can bring. You feel like you're right there. So now you get to hear more of the up-close trash talking. Now you get to hear the plays being called out. Now you get to hear, some of the stuff that would normally be drowned out by the crowd noise or by the TV, things like that. So I think it'd be interesting.
What you might end up seeing is you might end up seeing some players that don't really perform well in front of crowds, or they may still even be a little nervous. You might see them even play better now. And I think that might be a different thing. So, you know how they say practice players are.
And I think you hit it on the head because, when you're looking at, some of those guys, normally, on the road or when the moment is big for the intensity that's created with the crowd, you see some of those guys kind of retreat to a shell. But for this type of setting, and it's on a neutral floor, it adds a different element of surprise to the conversation.
Yep.
Let me take a quick call right here. I want to introduce another call in, another guest, Derek Anderson, joining us on Str8 No Chaser Talk. Thank you, Derek.
What up, though? Big Ken, what up, baby?
What up, baby?
My man, what's up, Dan? What's happening, dog? What's happening?
All
Jay,
right.
what's happening, man?
So, Derek is taking a moment to be with us. And, Derek, we have a nephew on here, Julian Short. We have Josh Falls on here, player for South Suburban. So we're getting a perspective of younger basketball players as well as older basketball players. So I'm really excited to have my cousin on here. I'm really excited to have Jay on here. We're rocking and rolling. So we were just talking about the return to the NBA and what that would look like with this 22-team schedule, 22-team, participation, and the schedule and what that looks like. Let me ask you, let's go around real quick. Based off of what you're seeing or what you saw going into the break, and now looking at the teams that are potentially into this seeding and play-in tournament, who would you say is your favorite to win the NBA title? Let's start with Derek. I'm going to go Joshua, Jay, Francois, and then Ken.
Okay, you want to start? Okay. Based on what I last saw, I was going with the Lakers. Based on what I last saw. But the Lakers are the oldest team in the league. You see what I'm saying? So I want to see how they get back in stride. It takes older legs to get back. It takes more for older legs to get back in stride. So Lakers were my favorite, but I got three teams. I got the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Bucks. So those are still my three favorite to win it, but I'm going to go with the Lakers.
Way to go out on the limb, Derek. He said the Derek, that was such a tough decision.
I'm just saying, bro. I have to go with the Lakers. I'll take the Lakers.
Look, don't put yourself out there too much now,
No doubt about it. No doubt about it, brother. No doubt about it.
Yeah. All right, Julian, what are your thoughts? Who do you see coming out of this based on what you saw? And hearing some commentary about old legs, which, by the way, I feel personally attacked on that one.
Hey, I got them too, brother. We in the same league.
Honestly, I agree with him, man. It does take a while for old legs to get back. Josh, you already know what I'm talking about, but yeah, it does take a while. But honestly, I think what Giannis is that's just a different type of athlete, man. It's a different player, and I think even with LeBron, I just think that he could just change the game in so many different ways and so many different. He can contribute in a massive amount of ways. And I think with that being said, I'm not putting Milwaukee on the back burner just yet. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let me ask you, Julian. Is there a young player that you're excited to see?
I like Ja's game. I like his game. I like his energy. I like how he wants to compete with the best. And he goes out and plays every day. He goes out and plays, and he does everything, the dirty work and the big time plays. You know what I mean? So that just makes it even more, makes it even better to watch. You know what I mean? He's doing the dirty work on the ground and getting loose balls and dunking on the big fella. You know what I mean? So I think all of that to put in one, seeing him back, I think that'd be great. Zion, I mean, we all know what Zion can do. You know, rebound the ball, dunk. But I think Ja is just a well-rounded athlete and a well-rounded player. You know what I mean?
Here's the issue. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say the issue, but here's my concern with Zion. And that is, like, we talked a little bit about this before. Mm-hmm. We don't know what kind of shape Zion is coming back.
Yeah.
He's down in Louisiana, Creole cooking. You know, the thighs are rolling out. Friction, you know, before, there was a little friction. The shorts were starting to ride up in there before this break. I don't know what kind of shape he's coming back.
Hey, we should have put him on that Big Ken workout before he came back.
I saw Big Ken before all this happened. I was hooping with him, man. Ken was getting up and down the floor, stroking the three, man. Give him a little beast mode down there. Ken ain't nothing to play with.
No, he ain't.
Hey, Josh, what you got for me? Who do you think is the favorite for this year's NBA title?
For me, it all boils down to depth.
Great point.
We know what our stars are gonna do. We know they're gonna come through big, but we need the pieces. For me, I think a dark horse for me is Miami, because you got Andre Iguodala, primary defender. You got Jimmy Butler, another primary defender. You got guys like Tyler Hero that's just coming in making big shots. But it all depends on how they format it, because I've seen a couple brackets where they're mixing everybody in all together. I don't think they win that dogfight in the LA or in like or even with like Boston. Because Boston, like Jay Tatum, like Jaylen Brown. For me, it's those in-between guys, the glue guys, how big are their roles going to be? But all that being said, I can't go against the King right now. Got a different mindset, man. We've seen it start to really tick, especially like when Kobe died, he came out a different animal.
True.
Just wouldn't be right if he didn't come out with one.
Okay. Yeah, you know, at that point I got nothing. Great commentary.
Yep.
Frenchman, how about you?
Well, y'all know who I want to win. I want the Lakers to win it. But they scare me a little bit, because I think with the depth, and Jay was saying, the depth is, I'm looking at it and I don't see that third guy consistently stepping up. And I think that's what's going to be needed. We know LeBron and AD going to give you the numbers, but they need that third scorer. I wanted them to get Jamal Crawford bad. Just need somebody that's going to get in Lou Williams' way, somebody that's going to, and I don't know. Kuzma just don't seem to do what he's supposed to do. So he better come back from the quarantine with a jump shot and a consistent one. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to still roll with the Lakers, and I think the other teams that'll be involved with the Clippers, they got like 5 20-point capable dudes on their team. So, and they tough. And then I look at Milwaukee, their point differential is like top 4 of all time. And I think Johnny's got something to prove. They came at him kind of foul last year, and I think that he's ready. And then I look at Boston. Boston is, they're not a sleeper, but they're a sleeper because nobody's really talking about them. But they got dogs. And after seeing what Jason Tatum did to Kawhi and Paul George that last time they played the Clippers, he's hard to deal with. And so I like Marcus Smart. They got a great team, so I'm looking at them too. And don't count Toronto out, because everybody's sleeping on Toronto, but they just been rolling. So, but of course, I'm gonna roll with the Lakers though. I'm gonna stick with that.
As everybody is.
All right. Well, you know what? Let me just real quick. We have a couple comments on the live video. So, our man Kid Brown, KB, I call him the Suge Knight of Iowa. KB is checking in, and he put the over-unders. Will Zion be bigger or lighter than Oliver Miller when he comes back?
Oh Lord, no.
KB,
That boy crazy as hell, man.
I love you.
Hey,
Oh,
I got an interesting point on why I tell you who's gonna win.
Okay, go ahead.
The one thing about being off for this amount of time and then coming back and having to play in the setup that they're gonna have to play in, give me the guys who I think get along the best. See, because I think you're gonna have to be. It's gonna have to be like, I gotta like you. I gotta like you because I'm there with. Basically, I'm here with my old lady, couple kids. You know what I'm saying? I ain't in no other city where my side chick at. You know, all the elements that I'm used to.
right.
You know, I'm stuck. You stuck with who you bring to Orlando.
Yeah, that's true.
I think LeBron is the guy that makes his teammates feel the best.
Yep.
He's the kind of guy like, look, man, hey, I understand, but you know, I think they like him. That's what's gonna kill the Clippers, I think. I don't think I don't think guys on that team particularly like each other. I think they hoop great.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they like each other.
Yeah.
That's
what I say, Stan. Yep.
That's why I'm gonna take Boston against LA. The Boston guys, I think, like each other. So they're gonna rally around each other and they like each other.
Gotcha.
You know, I don't.
Camaraderie mean a lot, bro. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
camaraderie
you gotta
mean a
have
lot.
that because you're gonna be out of your element. It's like me. It's like you taking a couple guys, and I'll give you an analogy to Stan. Young cats might not understand, but Stan, Nell, and Derek. It's like when you go to another hood to hoop or a neutral site, you want to rock with some guys you rock with.
Yep.
I can't go with. I'd rather take some guys I know that might be a little less talented than some guys I don't know.
Right.
Because it's gonna click in. We gonna play together. I don't know about a lot of them other teams outside of the element how they gonna react.
Yeah.
Ken, I know that about you too, man, because me and you done ran some courts together. So I know that about you. Ain't no doubt, man. I'm gonna go with the guys I know that I like. I mean, it might be like Ken, they might be like, Ken, man, that dude cold. I don't really know him, so I can't rock with him.
And I'm with you that way too. Derek has been with us, and we used to travel all over. When we lived in the northwest suburbs, we traveled all over wherever the game was. I mean, you had some of the miles we put on the vehicles. You know,
man, come on, man. Me and David them drove all over the city. All of us did.
You in Orlando, like I said, you in Orlando, and I don't even know. Like, what are they saying? They get like, what does each player get to bring? Like 3 or 4 family members?
I'm not sure how many, but however many they bring, like you said, it ain't gonna be the side chick.
Hey, and they have already said the family members can't go to like this. They can't leave the facility.
They can't get around, right? Exactly.
Yeah, so you stuck with them the whole trip.
Oh,
and see, hey, and who gets along better with their family than LeBron?
Nobody.
But what you was saying too earlier, Ken,
anyway. You know,
and what you was saying earlier, Ken, I had talked to Stan about this and Derek. With the Clippers, yeah, they got a lot of talent, but at the end of the day, man, they still got dudes. It's too many alphas. Sometimes you can't have all them cats, and they started to show that weakness when they lost to the Lakers, and then it was in the locker room, and it's already reported, well, now Lou want the ball. He's saying he should have been closing. Kawhi's still sitting out. That's bothering them. Whether they say it all the time or not, that bothers them.
Yeah.
So now, is he going to be low managing? Is he going to be low managing Orlando? I mean, I don't know, man. Clippers is just that team. Huh?
He better not be. He better not be low managing. The nigga been off for 3 months. Come on, dog. He better not be low managing, man. He better not low managing.
Than anybody ever know.
So this one more piece before we move on to another topic, which I really want to get into as far as athletes and predominantly or African American athletes going to attending HBCUs. That's going to be a great topic of conversation. I want to really spend some time on that. But before we move on to that, I just have one other question, real quick. Let's go around. Would you give this year's NBA champion an asterisk next to their name in the record books? Let's start with Jay, Julian, Derek, Ken, and Francois. Jay, are you going to give them an asterisk for if they win the title this year? Whoever it is.
I feel like I have to, because there's so many different outside factors that have gone on. You got guys that have took these 3 months off and still work, but guys that haven't. Some guys about to get drugged past the finish line. It's just too much. I feel like you have to.
So you give him an asterisk. Okay. Julian, how about you? Are you giving this year's champion an asterisk?
It's a tough one. I think you can. I think it's so many different, so many different variables that come into play. But at the same time, if you think about it, these games and for these athletes, this is basketball. This is their life to them. You know what I mean? So what they're doing on their off time is what they should be doing on their off time. It should be dedicated to the game. So regardless of that, I mean, you know, all these different, you know, you got COVID, you got all these different issues, and you got families, you got, you know, all these different areas that people got to travel to one area to play the game. I would definitely have to throw one in there, you know, at least.
Oh, man.
It's a lot.
Derek, what about you?
Just because of what y'all said, just because of what the two younger guys said, ain't no way I'm giving it an asterisk. And the reason being is there is no NBA champion had to go or overcome the hurdles that this NBA champion is going to have to overcome. You see what I'm saying? Ain't no look. We all have been affected by all the things that have went on. So mentally, especially us being black men, we have all been affected by the COVID and everything because we die at a higher rate. We have all been affected by this George death has really set us into a place where we have never been before, mentally. So it's going to show some mental strength in order to even get back and concentrate like that on basketball. So I'm not going to give it an asterisk. I'm going to actually give it more because it was harder to go through these things that we went through. We done went through things that we never went through before.
I agree. I think when I said asterisk, I meant the opposite because what I explained was exactly what you're saying. I think that I think that athletes, I think in this day and age, I think especially with this is going on, I feel like people everybody go through something. You know what I mean? Everyone goes through something. Everyone has issues. Everyone has their own issues, but it's not about the issues. It's about the person. You know what I mean? So if what I'm going through, you know what I'm saying? If I can overcome what I'm going through, regardless of yay or nay, then that tells a lot about that person. You know what I mean? And so for these NBA athletes who get paid to play the game that they love playing, there's no excuse. There's no excuse. I feel like these guys should, put their all regardless of what's going on, put their all in their training, their eating, their habits, all of it. Now, I understand that some may have some limitations, obviously, but, you know, for the vast majority, you know, there shouldn't be any excuse. I mean, I feel like a lot of us here have made sacrifices for what we need to do. So it shouldn't be an excuse. I mean, I wouldn't do it. You're right. This is something big. So if you can overcome this and get a championship, man, that's top 5. You know what I mean?
For me, it's not necessarily like saying that it was like any excuses made. For me personally, I'm saying it because you normally have that same model of success. You play your 82 games, qualify, and you got to win your 16 to go through. That's your model for success to win your championship. For me, because they didn't play the 82, and then you have teams that have played more games than others, so they may have a little bit more wear and tear on their body, which the COVID, with like the whole break has allowed them to heal, get their surgeries or whatever the case may be. But you have teams that are rolling in shorthanded. Like, I don't know if the Spurs made it or not, but LaMarcus Aldridge is out. Just had a shoulder surgery. So you have those teams that are going into battle shorthanded.
But like you were saying, recovering with surgeries, they couldn't get their surgeries. That's why LaMarcus just had his. They couldn't get their surgeries because of the COVID.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they surgeries were put on the back burner. So that's why LaMarcus is out for the season now, because he just had his surgery did. If he'd have had it done 3-4 months ago, you know, we'd have been in a different place with him. You know, so
we know. Let's because I know there's a lot of conversation to be had around this topic, but I do want to get to the topic of high-level athletes, potentially HBCUs. But before we get to that, Francois, real quick, is this year's NBA champion going to have an asterisk next to naming the record books for you?
I'm going to keep it short. No asterisk. Once they lace it up, and the champion will be the champion. But what I'm going to take another angle from the result of all of this. Depending on how this goes, they always talking about shortening the season. If this actually goes very successful, they're going to revisit that talk about shortening the season up and trying to make adjustments based off of this. So this will be an historical year toward that too. Because I think after this year, it'll never be the same. And I think that if it works, they may shorten that season like they've been talking about. But no asterisk for me.
Gotcha. Big Ken, how about you? Take us home.
Nah, no asterisk, man, because they got to the point of the season where out of the 16 teams that got in, 15 of them are locked in. So, you know, you got one team that they letting in. So everybody already knew where you was at, where the playoffs was going to start when the season ended. So it wasn't not no big shakeup. You're going to get the one team that, that gets into the playoffs that nobody thought about, but everything else was locked in. So no asterisk for me.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say, I'm gonna make an OG call right now. You all lucky I don't have a wig handy. But I'm going OG Bobby Johnson on this. I'm standing up in front of the yard. I'm taking him with me. There will be a top seed that's going to be upset in the first round of the playoffs, whether it's due to conditioning, lack of interest, whether it's facing youth and athleticism. There will be a major upset in the first round of the playoffs. I'm making an OG call. It's my boy Loco from the set. I'm taking him with me.
Taking him with you.
I'm taking him with me. I don't know who that is. I need to see what the the seedings are going to be, but I'm making a bold prediction. So
I gotta see that one.
Happen. So real quick, Antonella Cremonese, Zion will come back out of shape. So see, we're not the only ones. We're on to something here. You know, I don't know, man. Zion, like I said, man, he had a little friction between those thighs earlier in the season. The shorts was wearing thin, so we'll see what kind of shape he comes back in. So great topic, guys. So I want to move the conversation along a little bit. One of the things I want to talk about, and this has been, and I had this conversation about 6 months ago before anything with George Floyd and some of these other conversations were starting to take place. I had a conversation with a couple friends. The big Frenchman was there, Francois. I was having a conversation with him, and I follow a number of different basketball outlets on social media. And with that, you're starting to see a lot of the younger basketball players be more socially aware and social conscious. And I had made this statement at that time. One of the things to look out for is that over the next several years, you will hear of high-level basketball players going to historically Black colleges and universities. I know the counter argument to that is, well, what about the coaching? What about the financial resources? My counter argument to that was, you have to start somewhere, because the reason why many of these programs have the money that they do is because they have players that have succeeded on a professional level, and then they reinvest back into that college, that university, their program, or their coach. You know, instead of this player giving $5 million or $2 million to name a new workout room in his mother or father's name, now that money is being put back into an HBCU. My question is, and I want to start with the two younger guys, because these guys have been more recently involved in that process. I'm going to start with Josh, Julian, and then I want to go to Ken. But I want to talk about, should more elite level athletes go to HBCUs? And for Josh and Julian in particular, let's go with Josh first. Are Are HBCUs considered in your recruiting process? Was that something that you considered as a basketball recruit?
Oh, absolutely. I had a couple HBCU offers actually here recently. It didn't work out for me as far as the academic side, as far
Okay.
as my own personal downfalls, but it's absolutely should be considered. Um, we have too much we have too much potential for us to not invest it in our own communities and ourselves and things of that nature. Um, HBCUs are an amazing thing. That the culture is second to none at all.
Absolutely,
I think
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
it's a movement we'll start to see more, especially with guys like Mo Williams getting hired at Alabama State. You got an
Absolutely.
NBA champion at a HBCU, so that's going to be a big draw in itself.
And they've already got a commit from Trace Young. I believe he's a 3 or 4 star recruit. Mikey Williams, he's already talked about with respect to his recruiting process that he is going to legitimately consider HBCUs. And I think he said something very telling, and that is, if you are a pro prospect, you are a pro prospect no matter where you go. There's pros coming out of smaller or mid-major Division I schools, So this is something that I think, again, with this generation coming up, being more socially aware, you may start to hear more of this. Julian, what are your thoughts? I know, you just recently ended your career, your amateur career at college, but were HBCUs part of your recruitment?
Yeah, definitely. Savannah State, down south, Johnson C. Smith, and North Carolina. Yeah, those are definitely a part, especially the Black community, obviously. But I think the one thing that stands a big part between HBCUs and a lot of Division I schools that everyone wants to go to is money. And I think that's something that a lot of HBCUs don't have. And as an athlete, and that's we just being honest here, a lot of athletes want a lot of things. You know what I mean? You want the scholarship, you want the meal plans, you want the gear, you want to look good, you want all those different things. And when you look at it, back when I was getting recruited, those HBCUs, some of them didn't have all of that. And you want to be comfortable, you want to be happy. Those are the things that you want, obviously. But now, being a little bit older, graduating from IU East, I understand that those levels don't matter. Division I, D3, wherever. It's about where you're going to be successful after you play ball, not just while you're bouncing that ball. You know what I mean? So I think that if these kids, these high schoolers can get the right information beforehand, before they get to these colleges and think about just bouncing that ball, then, HBCUs can be great, especially for job opportunities after, you know what I mean? So
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think it just depends on that thought process, that mindset. And obviously, I'm 25 now, so I'm thinking a little bit bigger than when I was 18, 19, you know what I mean? So I think if these players in high school have the right people in front of them, helping them make these decisions, then by all means, HBCUs top 2, you know what I mean? So it just all depends.
Yeah.
Hey, Ken, I know you've been a proponent of HBCU. What are your thoughts?
All right, it's you gotta be. I'm a proponent of it, but you gotta do it the right way. I think if you're gonna go to HBCU route, it's gotta be the Division I route, due to the fact of the money. That's where the money is gonna come. Mm-hmm. Like if you got guys in the SWAC, now just imagine if the SWAC basketball got a TV contract. See, that's where the money is. You gotta think where the money is. Like, you don't want to be D2 or D3, nothing wrong with it, but if the money, like if Mikey Williams, if he goes, see, now you got that game on TV, because they could play a Duke, they could schedule a Duke or North Carolina, because they in the southern states, So I think that's where they're gonna generate. That's like the young cat says, they don't have. That's where you start getting the gear and the stuff like that when you get them NCAA checks. Them TV checks. That's what people got to realize. That's the whole reason the kids now go to a Michigan or Duke. They generating 100, 200 million for that school. Yep. Just imagine you got Morehouse getting generated 100, 200 million. Oh yeah, you looking good now, man. That Morehouse gear is fly.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
You got the 3 pair of sneakers, the hoop in, the ones to work out in, your gear is fly. So it's got to be where you can get the TV contract, where you're making enough noise, where you can say, man, you imagine if you got the Monday night game on ESPN, and all of a sudden you got Alabama State playing against North Carolina.
Yeah.
Mo Williams on the sideline. You got Mikey Williams playing for. He going against the top cat that went to do. That's putting that. You know what that check is like for Alabama State? That's a big check.
Yeah.
And see that's when the game will change. When you start cutting them big checks to the HBCU schools, athletic department, that's when the game will change. Because the kids coming after that will start to be recruited on a different level because the HBCUs got them big checks. It's all about the checks, man. Checks and balances. It's not about the sports, that. It's all about checks and balances. You got to put yourself in a proper position to get the checks. That's what I want the kids to understand. Things are not going to get better till you make the NCAA break bread. They want to give all the money to the Big Ten, the Pac-10, the SEC. No, make them break some of that bread to the SWAC. Make them break some of the checks to the SWAC.
I think to your point, one of the things that we're finding is, to your point, Ken, the NCAA will pay to watch great players.
Exactly.
David is a major, but Obi Toppin, lottery pick, they were on national TV.
Exactly. He was that day.
Now you're starting to see John Morant games, so things like that. Follow the money. The money will be there if the player goes.
Exactly.
Big Frenchie.
But what Ken said was prophetic. There you go, Ken. Nice. What he said was nice. But I'll put it like this. I'm gonna go another route. You're right. It has to start somewhere. If Mikey Williams does commit and does this will open up a floodgate.
Yeah.
I look at a team like, and it's a Division I, but Gonzaga. Once Gonzaga started getting a certain type of athlete, they started growing to the point that they became a basketball powerhouse. And it'll be like that for anywhere. So if they open the floodgates and they get the 5-star recruit to go down there and commit, that's when you're going to start seeing the money come in. If there is a problem with coaching, they'll hire better coaches. They'll adjust, but it has to start somewhere. And I think that I'm so glad these kids are now more socially aware, and they're talking about it and they're getting it going because it has to happen. And with the one and done kids, like you said, if they can hoop, they're gonna find them now, especially with all the social media and the outlets and the exposure. So if they can hoop, they'll be found anyway. It's not like it used to be. If you go somewhere else, then they don't find you. I mean, they found Jerry Rice, right?
Yeah.
So if you can play, they're gonna find you.
Well, and I think that's something to be said because historically, there have been a number of African-American athletes that have gone to HBCUs that have played football that have gone on to excel in the NFL. But really the last great basketball player, and I'm just kind of going off the top of my head. Bobby Fields is the last great basketball player to attend the HBCU.
No. I would say
Virginia Union, right? Who dared?
Wallace.
Ben Wallace, yeah.
Ben Wallace.
Yep.
Okay. But we're still talking, how many years ago?
Right.
And he wasn't really heavy on the radar, but it was someone, that was able to make it. So I think if you combine A, someone who's on the radar, and B, being on the radar and showing that, yes, you can still make it to the NBA, that this is another path to success. To the Big Frenchman's point, I think this opens up a floodgate. So I want to wrap up this. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about this, and I'm glad that we have a good, diverse group of individuals, different ages. I want to talk about Illinois basketball and then Illinois street ball. So with that being said, let's first talk about Illinois. Let's talk about street ball. Let me ask you guys, where was the one court where you cut your teeth at, or you say, you know what, man, this is my court, or everybody knows my name rings out, that you were unguardable, unbeatable, that was your court? Where did you make your mark? Let me start with the Frenchman. Where was the court where you made your mark?
Well, when I just really started, like just going off,
Yeah.
man, boy, I don't know. I mean, I started down at Tennyson, and I think I told a lot of you guys, Isaiah Thomas, Mark Aguirre, bunch of guys down there, and it was crazy because we were kids watching them play. So I would say the first court was Martin Luther King Boys Club.
Okay.
That would be the first court, yeah.
Okay. Big Ken, how about you? Where was the first court where you made your mark?
Ada Park.
Ada. Yeah.
Yeah, me. It was like my freshman year in college, man. Me and Kevin Diller, we used to go down to Ada Park all the time. Yeah, Ada Park. When I really got to some outside competition that wasn't in the suburbs, going to the city, yeah, that was where I started putting my game together.
Okay, very familiar with Ada Park. Jay, how about you? Where'd you make your mark?
I don't know. I've never to my downfall. I've never been much of an outside hooper. My knees has never allowed me to do much outside.
Okay. What about a rec center or a place like that? Where were you playing when you knew that, hey, I've arrived as a ball player?
Hey, Stan, these young cats, man, they had luxuries, man. They play indoors, man.
They play outside, man. Right.
LA Fitness and shit.
Right, LA Shitness. They played at LA Shitness. Okay.
I think I figured out, really started to figure out my game in middle school, probably 7th, 8th grade, when I really started to okay, I could really do something.
Okay. Julian, how about you?
Me? Oh, man. So, growing up over on 65th, right off Kenty, right off Marquette Park.
Okay.
That was a park. That's where I started hooping at consistently.
Okay.
But once we moved over on Justice, me and the guys used to always go to LaGrange. Over to LaGrange, we used to always hoop. Now, right when I graduated high school and got, knew I was going to college, started losing weight, slimming down, and it was a little bit better than it was. You know what I mean? So that's I'm gonna say when I started going on LaGrange court, we was running. All 6 of us get there around 12 o'clock, and we on the court all the way until 8. You know what I mean? So it was a group of us consistently going every single day.
Okay.
And that's where it was for sure.
Derek, how about you?
First park was Canterbury, Markham.
Good spot, yeah.
First, I mean, that's where I learned how to play. I mean, 12 years old playing with grown men, you know what I mean? They ain't taking it easy on you. They giving it to you. They knocking you down. You got to learn how to compete, so that's where and then once I started striving in those games with dudes that's 20, 24, 20, and I'm 13, I knew that I can get busy with anybody after that, you know what I mean? Because I mean, them grown men is what put it on you,
Yeah.
When we were young, that's what put it, I mean, they would put it on you, man. We don't play with the youngsters like they played with us back in the day, you know what I mean? Yeah,
right.
back in the day, they gave it to us, man. And then you had to learn how to compete. If you ain't compete, you wasn't on that court no more. You know what I mean? So it was definitely Markham. That's why I learned.
And for me, I think when I finally hit my stride and realized, man, I can play and I can hang with these guys. It's gonna sound odd, but Orland Park Rec Center. Orland Park Rec Center back in the day used to have some of the toughest ball players from the.
I dunked on a
Yes, sir.
Oh man, I mean, you had guys like Chris Dillard up there, the Delaney brothers, Brian Kelly,
Yeah.
Brian Cathy. I mean, everybody was out there, and I mean, it's like everybody from the south suburbs. That was the spot to go on Sundays. You wanted to hoop, that's where you went. And for me, I wasn't a naturally gifted ball player. I had to work hard at it, and that's where I learned how to play defense because there was so many guys in that gym that could. I'm not talking about scoring you, that could dumb embarrass you. That's a whole nother level of embarrassment. That they could dumb embarrass you, that you had to be a lockdown defender or at least be able to do something on the other end. And because I wasn't as gifted as these other guys scoring, that's why I had to play defense. That's why I really locked in on that defensive end because, and I mean, you talking about the Danye Victors, you're talking about Troy Ivory, Ivan,
Hey, Troy,
I
my
mean,
family,
the
bro.
gamut of ball players that came through there, it was like, you know, you better be ready or you're going to get embarrassed. And believe me, they are going to talk about it. You know,
and I think that one of the biggest things was all of us. So I know I moved a lot when I was a kid, but I will say this, and I'm just gonna go and put it out there. Growing up on the West Side, being younger, you know, not going through puberty yet, but coming out to Harvey, man, I cut my teeth a lot with Derek, Ken, and you, Stan, because now West Side ball is more. At that time, it's like it's a foray. We just go to the hole and do what we need to do. And it's a hardcore game. So it's a lot of posting, it's a lot of machismo. But when you go to the South suburbs, man, you kind of, it's the athleticism mixed with the fundamentals.
Exactly.
And you really learn how to play the game. And playing with Derek, who's a year younger than me, he taught me so much, man, about the game. He get me fired up. And at that point, I'm ready to cut my teeth because now every time he brings somebody, he was like, I got to get this person for you and that person for you. And it was crazy because he would make me play harder. And I would just get so mad and be like, okay, I got to get in this guy's ass. I got to show Derek. So that was my thing. Then I ran into Ken and Veteran. And that's when I met Ken and his brother Danny. And those were battles.
Yeah.
And we've been cool ever since. And then Stan, I met you in Dalton, and it was the same thing. So we all started with a little rivalry, then we all got cool, and it goes from there. So and we started traveling everywhere. And then when you travel, you playing against different guys and picking up different stuff. And you got to play a different game. But yeah, man, playground ball in Chicago and the South and the suburbs, whether it's West or South, is excellent.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that because we moved because of my stepfather's job, we moved every 3 or 4 years. So I didn't really get a chance to plant roots and become kind of folklore like a lot of ball players. But with that, I was exposed to a lot of different types of game. So having lived in the city, then moved to Dalton, then moved to Matson, and then moved to the northwest suburbs, I saw the gamut of skills, the gamut of competition, different ball players. And that's how, you know, I've been able to build relationships with ball players across the city and the suburbs from as far south as University Park, hooping at the barn out of UP, all the way up to Rockford. You know, half game will travel. But I think that was one of the blessings of moving around. Let me ask you. So, everybody get your glass up because we're about to get into a straight no chaser. We about to put it out there. Everybody get your glass up. Salud, we got to keep it real. Everybody have a shot of something? Session time, fellas. Who was the one ball player that just got in your ass on the basketball court? You said, man.
Oh, no.
I just got. Yeah.
I got mine.
Go ahead.
Boy. Trent, man. Trent White, man.
From Thornton, yeah.
Trent, I could play against Tracy better than I could play against Trent. Trent was a killer, man. Well, he killed me. You know, he killed a lot of people. But he killed me, man. And
he was a killer, dog. Yeah.
That's my dog. That's my homie, man. And we grew out of a relationship of competing against each other. But I couldn't do nothing with that dude, man. Wow. I couldn't do nothing with Trent, man. Yep. You know, and that's my homie. And he always tell me, man, you did. He would always give me props like, man, D, you did good. But man, that dude right there, I look up to him to this day because he would serve me on any day I ever went out there. You know what I'm saying? I had good games against him, but not like at the level that he played. You know what I'm saying? So Trent was always the one that killed me.
I heard he was a beast.
Oh, he was.
Beast.
He was.
Beast.
He was.
Julian, how about you? Who was the one player that just gave you that business when you like,
I think, you know, Darius Stowers, the one I brought to our little league. Yeah, man.
Darius is rough.
Man, that's the first person I feel like I played against a lot of different people. In high school, I was a big, a 5, so one-on-ones as a 5 is kind of, you know, back to the basket. It ain't really no scoring on guarding you from the perimeter. But when I started working out with him, when I came back from my injury, he was the first person I saw at LA Fitness. And then when we went to Governor State, we started, you know, we worked out every day. You know, we started playing ones. And man, I'm 6'6", 230. He's like 6'2", 220, but solid. You know what I mean? And he was so explosive, man. His first step, man, it's like I'm in cement, you know what I'm saying? I'm guarding him. He take one jab, one dribble, it's over with to the bucket. So I was the first person I actually said, man, I think I beat him twice.
Okay.
Beat him twice, you know what I mean? But man, we done played about 40 times, so that ain't a good percentage, you know what I'm saying? So he was rough, man. He played at Farragut, played against D Rose and everything. So he beat him. He beat him. So yeah, man, it was tough.
So to that point, I'm gonna vouch for this guy Darius because we were playing the league a few years back, and Darius got picked up on another team as a filler, and this kid is rough. You know, he's got that quick first step, low center of gravity, strong, physical, explosive with it. You know, I beat him up a couple times, but you know, again, that's just a couple times. This guy's just a natural. They're basketball players and they're hoopers. This guy was a hooper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jay, how about you? Who was that one player that just got in you? You're like, oh man, I can't. You just now.
Firstly, I refuse to be first to know the satisfaction because all the guys I played with talk shit, so I can't do that. But I will say one summer AAU we were in Texas, and so we having a great weekend. We running people. And so then we hear about David Robinson's son is in our bracket or whatever.
Okay.
Cool. Like if we playing, bringing that out.
Wait, hold on, Josh. You're breaking up a
man
little bit.
had 35 on me at halftime.
At
It's so
35?
bad. Can you hear me?
Hold on, Josh. You're breaking up a little bit. We're gonna come back to you.
Breaking up like the Fat Boys in '83.
Half. Well,
Hey.
And the best part, like we can.
Hey, Jay. We're gonna come back to you in a minute because you're breaking up. We're gonna come back to you. Jay, we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back to you because you're breaking up. Big Ken. It's all right. We also here at Str8 No Chaser. We also had therapy sessions too, where you're able to talk some of these things out. Who's the one player that just gave you that?
Man. Summer '85, right before my senior year, I went to BC All Stars camp, which is now the Nike camp. It's the Nike camp.
Right.
And that's when you find out, you list your position, so they group you on teams with your position. So I was a 4 or 5. So I get grouped with my guys on the team as a 4 or 5, 6'5", 220 pound, 4 or 5. In Illinois, I'm doing my thing. Nah, not on a national level. 6'5", power forwards and centers. Man, let me see. I got my lunch 8. First day, 2 games we laced it up. First game was J.R. Reed.
Woo!
I knew you was gonna say that.
Oh,
I knew you was gonna say that.
JR, okay, but you know what? That's nothing to be ashamed about. But go ahead.
6'9", and the second day, I get matched up and get my lunch 8 by Felton Spencer, 7 feet tall.
Oh,
Right.
Wow.
Right. Wow.
Hey, needless to say, like I was like, there's no room in Division I basketball for 6'5" centers and power forward.
Right.
Well, there was one who was down at Auburn, but he was the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, the exception to the rule, right?
Right.
No doubt.
That's nothing to be ashamed of. All right, we got Jay back. Jay, we lost you for a second.
All right.
So you were telling us David Robinson's son.
Yeah, man, and it was bad. He had like 30, 35, somewhere in that ballpark at like halftime. And then we got into it. We got into it at halftime. Like, can we keep doubling them? Can we do something? I said, I'm trying. I promise I'm trying. I think he ended that game. He stopped shooting after a while, but he still had like 40. And we were all walking out. And his dad comes by and puts his hand on my shoulder and said, "Good game, young fella. Maybe next time." And they walk up.
Oh man,
disrespect. That's like
right. That's disrespect.
The little Benny Hill pat on the head. That's
right.
I was mad because I'm like, I just asked for a picture with you, dude. Like that wasn't the response I wanted.
Hey, real quick, Jay, while we got you, my man Kim Brown, KB said he's asking, do you have that iPhone 1 or do you need an upgrade or because we got some credits and some points we can help you out with if need be.
I'm done with HP laptops, man. It's time
KB,
Apple laptop.
KB. Don't worry, Jay. I got a story to share, and I've shared this with people, so you're not the only one. Big Francois. Who's that one player that just shut it down? You're like, oh man, you know what? I need to rethink. I need to make a business decision on if I want to keep playing basketball against this cat.
Man, dog. Well, I'll put it like this: when you talk about you doing the Darius Miles got my ass, right?
Yeah.
So all y'all at times and got me, but I'm gonna just tell you who y'all ever heard of Brian Hill?
Yep.
Yeah. For sure.
Man, dog. Let me tell you like this. I tell Stan this story all the time. So we hanging out, man, and we talking about going to hoop. We go hoop. We go to Bensenville. I know he didn't play against Kendall Gill, and he was the guy at UIC that always turned it out. But we played a one-on-one, dog. Everything I did, he took it from me. He beat my ass 32-4 in a one-on-one. That shit ain't never happened to me before. Not no 32-4, bro. I had to sit down for a minute, and it almost brought a tear to my eye. I looked at him. I was like, dog, you ain't going to do that shit again. You won't do that again. Now, I ain't never beat him in a one-on-one. We played plenty of them. The closest I got was 32-28. But he's 6'4", 210, tough, could shoot. I think he was probably one of the most underrated players that Illinois ever produced.
He was.
4 years started at UIC. I think he should have been an NBA pro. The only reason he didn't go to the NBA is because he chose not to. He didn't want to go the long route. And if he went to a bigger school, he would have definitely got, in today's game, he definitely would have been drafted. The closest thing I could compare Brian to is Ray Allen, but I would say he's stronger defensively. And I think he could hold up. But Brian Hill, man, was a dog. That's a straight dog, man. Straight dog.
Beast.
So I'm working through this is my therapeutic session too. So I'm working through this, and I'm gonna help Jay work through it as well. You're not the only one that that's got served in buckets. It happens to the best of us. Yeah. And I consider myself a great defender. I've told this story. There's a guy out of St. Louis. He actually lived on the other side of the bridge, on the Illinois side. I think he's from Brooklyn or Venice, Illinois. But he played at SLU, St. Louis University. So I'm playing in the Anthony Bonner Pro League, and every area, every city has those local legends, that local legend individual player, pro-am teams. So we're playing with Kurt Newby and a couple other guys, and a guy named Erwin Claggett. Played for SLU, St. Louis University. And everybody had been billing my defense against Clagg's offense. So we're playing these guys, and halftime, we up by like 6 points. Now, I got some go-getters on my team. I got Chris Carrawell on my team. I mean, I got some go-getters. So
I heard that.
So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, all right, Clegg didn't show. So halftime, we up by like 6 points. I'll be damned if right before halftime, the ball's about to be inbounded. All of a sudden, here comes Clegg coming in through the door. Clegg comes in, goes to the scores table in Adidas running shoes, grabs a jersey, threw it over his shoulder like a cape, kind of had it half on, and he was like, Clegg, number 20, whatever, such and such. If they didn't run so many damn 1-4 ISO sets, I got 26 points, second half dropped on me. I was like, who is this dude? Why am I not able to stop him? It was so damn embarrassing. And it was one of those things where you want to take yourself out, but everybody know you get busted. So you take yourself out, call for a sub or protect yourself. Then your reputation is really at stake. But I'd be glad they give me 20-something in the second half. Oh, and by the way, no stretch, no nothing. Still had on Adidas running shoes. Did 3 toe touches. Came out and started giving me that business. I did that. The longest half I've ever played in my life. 3 toe touches and 24 points in the second half. And he's like the Will Bynum of St. Louis. But to that point, the next game, he did the same thing to a ball player that I said, man, you know what? I got on the phone. I said, Neil, you got to check this guy out. There's a guy down here named Larry Hughes killing everybody.
Mm-hmm.
PBC. And I'd be damned if he didn't do the same thing the next week to Larry Hughes, who was a pro prospect and who ended up getting drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers. I think it was the Sixers or either the Wizards, but he was a lottery pick. So it wasn't just me, but Jay, I feel you. You know, that was the longest half I ever played, and I'd be damned if they didn't run so many 1-4 or pick and roll sets in my life. And then it's like by that time the crowd had turned on you. Hell, I think my mama might have turned on me. I don't know.
In my defense though, he would take like 2-3 dribbles past half court and go right into his shooting motion. And I'm like, there's no way in hell he's in that.
Yeah.
So then I think, all right, I'm gonna start picking him up full court. He hits one move and it's by me, and I'll never forget it because he took off from like maybe a step or two under the free throw line and punched on somebody.
Ooh.
It was the most disrespectful play
Wow.
in my life, but I was thanking God that it wasn't me.
So you know what? Good stuff. I want to wrap up the street ball segment, this playground ball segment. Who's the one player that you were able to give the business to, that you had your best game against in a rec setting, in a competitive setting? Who was that one player that you actually just said, man, that's my best game ever? Who'd you have your best game against? Let's start with Big Ken. Ken, I don't know you had so many. Who's the one that you said, man, you know, I had a good game?
I don't remember who it was, but a friend of mine had a team and they was playing in a league at the Robbins Rec.
Okay.
And this I had to be, maybe I was 25. He came and got me. He wanted me to lace him up and play with him.
Okay.
Man, I swear I couldn't miss. I don't know if it was the Robbins the Rec that made it so sweet. It was like you said, I mean, as soon as I stepped across half court, it was buckets. Everything was like, I think I only played that well one more time, and that was maybe at one of the leagues in my 30s playing at Luther South on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Robbins Rec, I always remember. I was like, oh, that was historic. That was when you came. Hey, the basket was like this big. It was like this ball. Yeah. So that was it. I can't remember who he was even playing against because it really didn't even matter.
Sometimes it's like that. Julian, what about you?
Hey, wait, since I got him on here, I think at Veterans Park, I think one of my better moments. I called
Hey
Neil
man, don't start. Don't start that shit, Ken.
Hey, I caught Neil one time coming baseline, and yeah, it wasn't right. It just wasn't pretty.
Dog, let me say this. You know what, Ken? I'll do you a favor and describe the dunk for you. Because like I said, it's only 3 people that done got me, and 2 of them was Mike's that was in the league, and you was the 3rd. And dog, man, I'm playing out there. I got Big Mike out there. I think Rich was out there that day.
I think so.
I know you was playing with your brother and your cousins.
Yeah.
And I had Big Mike and Aaron. Aaron was on my team. Man, I must have got caught on a switch, turned before and I jumped with him because I could get in the air so I could respond. So I jumped. Man, he went body to body with me and dunked on my ass so nasty, dog. I was just like, what the fuck? First thing I did was look at their ass and was like, that's because y'all scared of him and shit. Because I used to get real crazy on the court. But yeah, man, Ken got me, bro.
Yeah.
He got me.
Well, you know, they say time heals wounds, both physical and as we see emotionally. So I'm glad that you're over it and you're able to talk about it.
Well, I took it out on his cousin. Next time we played.
He did.
Dunked his ass in the basket. But
Yes, he did.
The dude I gave work to, man, and it's a name. I gave some work to your boy Scotty Thurman. I'm just gonna go on and say it.
Oh wow!
I'm gonna put it out there. I gave Scotty Thurman some work. I was in a tournament, man, and we were balling, and it was a free agent camp, and he was there. And at first, I was kind of nervous, but when I seen he didn't really play, he wasn't no defender like that. I said, "Oh, okay, he really didn't like the contact." Yeah, I gave him some real work. That was one of the better games I played. And then me and Derek, we played in the IPD league. I scored 47 in the game. I had like 10 dunks that game. and Derek was like, "Your ass is out here just going nuts." And so that was just a good league, though. That was a really good league, and that's what Trent White. Well, I did see what Trent White could do. That first year, what did he average, Derek? About 50.
He averaged probably about 42. About 42. Yeah.
Damn.
Trent was he was just coming off the squad, and that dude was he was a man amongst boys at that time. Truly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because Trey had took that position already. You know what I'm saying? And Trent didn't go back to the team. He came to the league where we was at. And he showed out, brother. He showed out, man.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And that was a tough league, man. That was a tough league. We had Fleck and all them cats in that league, remember? And
Yep.
that dude ran through that league, man. He ran through that league like nobody business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, that was man, Trent was something else, bro. Back then he was something else.
Well, Derek, since you're talking about it, who's the one player that you gave that you gave serious work to, that you gave business to?
I gave a lot of people some work, man. No, stop. But look, and y'all remember when I was young how skinny I was and how quick I was, right?
Mm-hmm.
We went to Applegate in Matson. Remember when they had satellites, right?
Yep.
I played against Phil Henderson. Phil, rest in peace, Phil. Phil, of course, he was killing me on the other end, but I was too jitterbug for him, man. And my jumper was wet that day. And man, I gave it to Phil. That's the biggest name I ever gave it to.
Okay.
But as far as league games and stuff like that, I played in a league in Luanga. It was a Catholic league back in the day, and on this squad, me and Jabba them, we had a team, and we played against a team in an exhibition in that league because they had all these Division I prospects, and Juwan Howard was one of them.
Okay.
And in that game, I had probably 17 points, but I had like 24 assists, man. You know, that was the best game I ever played in my life. And I done played in high school. I done played, you know, a lot of places. But giving them Division I boys, you know, and we had a short squad. We only had 8 players. They had 15 players, man.
Okay.
And we had 3 cats that fouled out. So we were short. You know, we had to play the rest of the second half just playing. But we lost that game by 1 point, and Jabba had 40.
Damn.
Jabba had 40. We played our butt off against them 15 cats, and we lost by 1 point. And that was the biggest game. That was the best game I probably ever played in front of a bunch of people. It was like I had about 17 and 24.
Okay. Especially if you got good finishes too. You know, that helps.
Man, them assists was just coming. And Richard, my boy Rich, he didn't miss a shot. Back in the day, if y'all know Jabba, y'all know how he shoot. He was shooting a whole bunch. You know what I'm saying? We had to get it. We had to get it when we could get it. You know what I'm saying? We had to get it when we could get it, man. But I mean, and I ain't talking. This is my cousin, you know, so I ain't saying nothing bad about him. He just was gonna shoot that rock. You know what I mean? And Richard touched the ball like 8 times, never missed a shot. You know, and it was just flowing for us. We should have beat that team, and we should have beat them. And I'm talking about it was the best game I played, but I missed the free throw at the end of the game to tie it up. So, you know, it was a love and hate game for me.
Best game. That sounds like it was your best game, but probably worst moment.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Julian, how about you?
Keep mine quick. My best game was the showcase once I was about to graduate high school in Maryville, Indiana. And I think I played like 6 games that one day. It was a one-day showcase. And man, I don't think I ever played like that since. But I think each game, I averaged about 10 or 12, about 9 rebounds. But the way I was getting those 10 and 12 was just so powerful and so explosive. I think one of the last games, like at the 5-second mark before the game ended, we run a full court. And the guard who was in front of me, he stole the ball. So I'm behind, he threw it up the backboard, and I slammed it. So I think after that, that was the best. That was that. Everything else is mediocre, average. Then once the injuries hit and that age started coming, I said,
that age. He only 25.
25, baby. 25.
Once you have a couple surgeries, that age double up a little bit.
Yeah, man.
What you should have done, we should have put a Corey Maggette. Get your 10 points, 10 rebounds, take your shirt off, let everybody see, and walk off the court. Just let them see. Put the Corey Maggette. What about you? The best game, or who'd you get at work to?
I forgot about him. I gave him about 30 last week.
He said last week. He said last week he gave 30.
That's my dog.
I'll tell you what though. To his point, he ain't never gave me 30, but we always bring the best out of each other. I will say that.
For sure.
But we had a YMCA league up here, and like if you know about Northwest Indiana basketball, like this is our livelihoods. So we had a lot of hood legends going and playing in the league, and the very first game, I don't know what was going on with me. I just was out of it. Played terrible. And I think every game after that, I didn't finish a game under 20 points. I just got into a rhythm and just felt good and stayed there.
That's what's up.
Having lived in a lot of places, I've seen a lot of different ball, but I would say outside the Bonner League, the best league I played in was the Willow Creek League, Willow Creek Church up in Barrington. And what I liked about the Willow Creek League was it was separated out by division. So you had your A, B, C, and X. So your A League were like guys that played overseas, ex-pro players, ex-college players. Then you had your B League, which were guys like JUCO players, some ex-college players. Your C League was more like recreational guys that play high school. And then your X League was kind of like a recreational like a recreational league, recreational division. So we're playing the A League, and I'm playing against, this is an older guy, so I'm not sure if the young guys know his name, but a guy named Doug Altenberger played at U of I.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Doug
Altenberger. He came after Kendall and those guys. He was like that filler. 6'5", 6'6", off guard. And I'll never forget, I had a guy on my team, Brad Johnson, who played for Iowa State. He was an off guard. He played with Dietrich Willoughby and a couple other guys. But we started out with 6 or 7 players, and a couple guys fouled out, so we playing 4 on 5. And they put Doug Altenberger on me. I gave him 41. I was putting him on the block. I was posting him.
Cook.
I'm like,
Cook's that shit.
That basket was like this big, man. I was put on a show. I had some good games in that league, and good games in that gym, because it was all a lot of ex-pros, high-level Division I guys. But yeah, Doug Altenberger, he got 41. Everybody talked about that, because the one thing that he could do, even though he wasn't the same player he was at U of I, was he could still shoot. And I shut him down.
Oh,
He
yeah.
shot off, and I was killing him on the other end. And when I started going to the block on him, I'm 5'11" and 3/4. But that's 6 feet in the streets. But I'm 5'11" and 3/4.
What? Boy, you stupid.
Yeah, 5'11" and 3/4. That's 6 feet in the streets. So I'm claiming my 6 feet. I'm making an OG call him that one. But when I went to the block on him, they was like, okay, this dude posting up. He hit him with footwork down there. As Shaq likes to say, he hit him with feet work and everything. But that was the best game I had offensively. Doug got the 41. I've had a couple 30-point games. So to guys like Big Frenchie and Derek and Ken and guys that can go out there and average 25 points, 30 points, 40 points, man, that's a big feat. I give my hats off, because I know I was winded. I was exhausted after that. That was
how many shots it is.
a game.
Yeah.
Hey, Stan, I've only scored 40 points in one game in my whole life. So
That was my only 40 point game too.
And that I give it up to anybody who can go out there and do that consistently. Like, I mean, that's a crazy feat, especially trying to play point guard, man, and you scoring like that is just a hot night. You know what I'm saying? And that was in our playoff game before we played y'all, Arnell, in that league. When I killed whatever team that was. I can't even remember what team it was because it was like a blur. The ball was just going in the bucket.
It was the black team. It was the black team.
Yeah.
All I know is to go out there and score 40 points consistently, you are different.
Yes.
James Harden.
Yep.
James Harden is different. Michael Jordan is different. Them some different type of cats. They go out and score 40 a night. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy, man.
And you have to have a certain mental makeup to be able to go out there and score 30 and 40 a night because that's not easy. The physical part is huge, but just the mental makeup to go out there and go score 30 and 40.
Dog, my high game was 47, and I thought I was shooting too much. And the guard kept giving me the rock, and he was just like, "Dog, you hot? Just keep going." And like Derek said, and you said too, Stan, I looked at the box score at the end of the game, and I was like, man, and then I started thinking about it. Like, cats going out there averaging 35, 36 points a game. How do they do it every night to score 30, to score that much?
So, I mean, when you're talking about pickup or something like that, that's one thing. But with referees and, timeouts and, just all the things that go and playing with in a league game to go out there and score 40, that's something. And I was like, I can't never shoot that much no more, man. I mean, that was like ridiculous. Like, I shot the ball literally, and I'm trying to get people involved. They giving me the ball back because I'm hot. You know what I'm saying? So if I throw the ball, because Kevin Lauder was on my squad, right? So
yeah, you had scores.
I'm throwing the ball to Kevin as many times as I can, and he tossing it back to me. So I'm letting it go. And it's, man, I'm like, man, I ain't. So I would never say that I was one of those type of scorers because I didn't have that type of mentality, But I could score the ball, but I ain't had that type of mentality, man. Exactly. When you can say I'm going out here and I'm shooting 25 rocks a night, you something else, brother.
And to be able to do that with the volume of games that they do, and then back to back, travel and all that other stuff, it really makes it interesting. It make you wonder how they really take care of their bodies like that.
Man, that's something else, man.
When I hear guys say, Kobe scored 81. Well, look who he's playing against. I tell guys now, I could drop you in the gym with some high schoolers or an 8th graders, and you wouldn't score 81 points.
Never.
You're talking about a different mental makeup as well as the physical ability to make shots.
Man, I told the cat, you think know how hard that is? I can drop you in the gym by yourself and give you 40 minutes, and it'd be hard for you to score 81.
81 points. I'm with you. Hey, it's a video out there right now with Jabba on the west side, and I can't remember the park. It's Tony Bennett's park where Tony be hooping all the time.
Oh, you tell me he over there at Newberry.
And he went out there and scored 73. You remember that? He scored 73 points. I said, you still ain't stopped, man. You old and you still shooting that much.
In a game?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he scored 73 in a league game.
Damn.
I can't shoot that much.
Me either.
No. Me either, kid. It takes a different mentality for somebody to shoot like that, man. I said, dog, you still shooting like, and I've been with him my whole life. I've been with Jabba my whole life. And I said, you still shooting like that, man. You in your 40s. You still shooting. He scored 73. He was in his 40s.
Well, he just lives basketball. So, but you know what, guys? We can continue all night talking basketball because this is something that we've all done or are doing that we're passionate about. We had some great conversation around the NBA season coming back. Should high-level Division I athletes consider HBCUs as part of their recruiting? And then also being able to share some of our street ball basketball playground experiences. This has been a great segment. Before we wrap up, any closing comments for the viewers that we have out there, I know Ken has been active. Ken Brown, who's a good friend of ours, has been very active, as well as Tina Ward, some other people, Antonella. Shout out to everybody. And I know I got some private messages I haven't had a chance to take a look at, some direct messages. Anything before we wrap up?
Hey, man.
If y'all know anybody that need any photos taken, photo edits, whatever it needs to be, let me know. I'm just starting this little business, but it's as far as the fan base, as far as that, it's not quite as where I want it to be. But as far as clientele, I've got a lot of clients. A lot of people like the work that I'm doing. So obviously, we're working at the school now. I mean, I'm doing something right. So if y'all got any athletes or anything, honestly, needs photo editing or needs your photos taken or something, just let me know, DM me, or we can go from there.
Can you share where they can where they can find you or how they can reach you?
Yes, sir. So you can go to my Facebook, which is Julian Short. My business page is Short Films Photography. Also have an Instagram page with Short.Films Photography. You can see all my work and all my photo edits and everything on there as well. So.
And let me say, I've seen his work. It's great work.
Good plug, fella. I'll send everybody I know that needs something your way, man. Good plug.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Ken is a good person to know. Yeah.
Hey, and to all y'all OGs on here, I appreciate y'all conversation. If y'all ever want to go out to a gym and teach me something, I'm all for that. I'm trying to be a sponge and learn the game from as many people as I can. So I love the conversation. I'll definitely learn anything y'all can teach me.
Absolutely.
Hey Jay, what school you at? You still in school? Where you at?
Yes, sir. I'm going to Union College in Kentucky next year.
Oh, okay.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh,
you were just at South Suburban College, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
That's
Yes,
what's up.
sir.
That's what's up, brother.
Ken, Eric, any last closing statements?
Oh man, man, glad to see you brothers doing well, man. Like to see the young guys, doing things, taking their life seriously. Like I said, man, hey, use the game. Don't let the game use you. Like my brother Jay. Hey, Jay, I'm gonna tell you something, man. A piece of advice I learned when I was early, man. Since you still in school, man. Hey, enjoy it. A lot of times we take that for granted, man. I would give, man, anything to go back to being in college or in high school, man. Enjoy that time, man, because before you know it, it's over with. You're working, you got bills, a wife.
Yeah.
Hey, you're trying to squeeze in a little time to shoot a little rock, man. Hey, hey, enjoy that time, man, and cherish that, man. And if you love hooping, man, don't never put that ball down, man. I'll be 52 this year, man, and I'm still out here trying to get a few buckets, man, whenever I can, man. So,
hey,
guys, enjoy that young life, man. Because before you know it, you wake up and you're 40.
Yep.
Yeah, I swear that's how it happened.
Yes, sir.
25.
And that was great advice, though. That's great advice what he just said. Don't never put that rock down, man. I mean, I put it down too early, for real. I put it down too early, and life catches up to you.
Yeah.
So keep putting life on the back burner and grab that ball, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta work. You're gonna have to live your life, but like Ken said, if you love hooping, just keep on going, man.
Hey.
Because Ken's still able to do that. Ken might not be able to do it on the level he used to do it, but Ken's still able to get out there and run up and down the court and play. See, I can't do that no more, so I missed out on that. So, I mean, I work my life, I do what I do, but man, you don't put the ball down, man, if you don't have to. You know what I mean? Yep. And it's just I'm just want to say, I love you fellas, man. Big Ken, it's good seeing you, dog. For real.
Always love, DK.
Always. And brothers, y'all be easy, man. Y'all got me out here at work again, man. I hope I don't get fired. I gotta go.
hey, DA, get back to work, man.
I'm going to work, man. Love y'all, man.
All right, DA, love you too, bro.
Nice meeting you, OG.
Yes,
sir.
Really quick.
Y'all young boys, man, be easy, bro. All right?
Yes, sir.
Be easy.
All right,
Keep doing work. Keep doing work, man.
Did I miss the Frenchman? Any closing statement on anything we talked about?
Yeah, man, I just want to jump on what Ken said and Derek. Young man down there hooping, I can't see his name.
Jay.
Jay, Look, man, I heard this earlier today, and it was kind of like this conversation that Gilbert Arena said this to this young man. You follow your dreams and everything else will follow.
Yes.
So you keep doing what you're doing. Don't get distracted. Stay on the course. Give everything you got to it. If that's what you want to do, give everything you got, because it don't come back. Once you, man, and time go quick. Before you know it, don't squander nothing. Don't squander any opportunity. And concentrate on your schoolwork and that basketball. Everything else will follow it. Everything else will follow it. And I know sometimes it gets a little hard because I don't know your situation, but you got these girls out here and all of that. Later for that right now. It'll come. It'll come, trust me. But don't grow up too quick. Just keep doing what you're doing, and congratulations on going down to Kentucky.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
welcome.
Well said by everybody. And here's my close. First off, I want to thank everybody for being on the call tonight. Get a lot of feedback. Big Ken, not Ken Milton, Ken Brown said he's looking forward to Julian putting together a poster with, some work with him dunking on him. If you don't know Ken Brown, swear you can dunk on everybody. I don't know, but that's the thing. So he got about 17 dunks that he owes people. So shout out to Ken Brown. I know he's usually on the call with us. He wasn't able to be on with us, but shout out to Big Ken Brown. But he did say he's gonna dunk on you, and he wants to see your best work when you put it into a poster or something like that. So shout out Ken Brown.
Shout out Ken.
But with that, let me just say, for me, basketball, I didn't take it as seriously as probably I should have. I didn't take it as seriously as some of you guys did, but nonetheless, basketball opened doors for me. I was able to see people. I was able to do things. I was able to use that to fund part of my education. Some of the connections that I've been able to make as I continue to play, whether it's in pro fantasy camps and things like that, are invaluable. So this is a brotherhood on a number of different levels. You know, you have the NBA brotherhood, you have your neighborhood brotherhood, your teammate brotherhood, but basketball itself is a brotherhood. And if you look at it and respect it that way, there's no limits to where this can take you. Julian, you're seeing that it's helped you develop your photography business. Now you're the photographer for IUE, IUE Sports. Jay, you're continuing on with the next step in your basketball career. You know, so just because that ball stops bouncing, from a collegiate level, things like that, doesn't mean it has to stop bouncing in your life. So maximize the opportunities that are available to you. I know the older guys that are on here, we still use it in some capacity, and we will continue to use that, but then also share the knowledge that we have, because it's selfish for us not to be able to share that, because the next generation can only benefit from it and improve upon what the foundation that's already been laid as it was laid out for us. So with that, I appreciate everybody jumping on the call. Everybody be safe. I know that we're going to be tempted to go out and start doing workouts and get in the gym. I just ask that everybody still be safe. Manage your responsibility. We see Big Ken over there, and I will see you at LA Shitness soon when they open up the doors. And hopefully we'll get some guys out. So thank you, everybody that's tuned in to this live. Thank you for the comments and the feedback. And this is how we do it, a Str8 No Chaser. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, fellas.
All right.
All right, y'all. All right, Big Ken.
All right, boy.
Have a good night.
All right, guys.